you'll see. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Dash, fantasy football's getting heated. Are you even in the playoffs in any of your leagues?
Both.
No, the answer is no.
Yes, the answer is yes.
I thought you had to win and lose and score 26 points.
Well, no. If I lose and another team wins and outscores me by, 63 points, then I'm out of the playoffs in the one league. The other league, I won 10 games already or something. 9 or 10 games.
Playoff bound Dash. Well, what do we got for him today? We got our situational starters, sleepers, and deep sleepers. We broke up our fantasy football segment because the waiver wire was getting too big.
Yeah, it sucked.
Well, now we just get to do more segments for the fans. They like it.
Well, I don't.
Too bad. Got to do what the fans want. They pay the bills.
Well, since you love it, start with your situational starter, man.
Gonna go with Brandon LaFell. He's on my team. He's going up against Philly. Philly is probably the worst team at going up against the pass. They give up mad points through the air. Chip Kelly's a mess. The whole defense is complete garbage. Amendola may be back, but Edelman's out for the year. Rob Gronkowski's out for at least this week. Scott Chandler, he's a reliable target, and I think Brady will utilize him, but I think the majority of the targets will be split between LaFell and Amendola.
I see Scott Chandler getting some targets in this game as well, but I see everybody on the New England offense having a good game here because Philadelphia's defense is terrible against the pass. The most fantasy points to wide receivers this season, pretty much the most anything to anything this season.
Garbage. Chip Kelly has no idea what he's doing.
But look, Brandon LaFell, 47 targets in the 6 games played. Now, he only did have 2 double-digit fantasy performances, but you remember back, we called his biggest game of the season where he had 5 catches and 102 yards versus Washington in Week 9. And we're going to call it here again, obviously, going up against Philadelphia, who is the worst team in football, in my opinion.
Believe it. I put him in my lineup on both teams.
Easy, what are you thinking?
I'll tell you what. I don't like to say it, but I'll go with T.Y. Hilton's brother-in-law.
Dante Moncrief.
Is that his name?
The Frenchman.
With Andrew Luck going out, I thought, that the receivers for Indianapolis weren't going to do much, but they've won 3 straight, and dudes are catching the ball.
Yeah, Matt
He's obviously
Hasselbeck
catching the ball.
is 4-0 as a starter this season, man.
Believe it.
That's
ridiculous.
Done.
But yeah, you're right. Dante Moncrief going up against Pittsburgh. We've seen what Seattle's receivers did against Pittsburgh last week, and they don't have the greatest receivers. Not that Indianapolis has the greatest receivers right now either. Dante Moncrief, though, I mean, he had a big week last week, 114 yards on 8 catches versus Tampa Bay, and he actually started the season with 6 double-digit fantasy performances in the first 7 games. He tailed off after that for a while, but like I said, the big game last week, and those games he did tail off. It was versus Carolina, Denver, and like I said, Atlanta's a better defense than people give him credit for as well. So I see Dante Moncrief going off in this game. Sometimes they do a good job against the number 1 receiver. I mean, they kept the number 1 receiver out of the end zone most of the season up until last week. I'm talking about Pittsburgh. But maybe they do a good job against T.Y. Hilton, but it seems like the second receiver always has a big day against Pittsburgh.
Antoine Blake's garbage, and that's who's probably going to be covering Moncrief, so Moncrief will most likely have a big day.
He might not have as many catches, but he may have 1 or 2 for big yardage. So he's not a 1 or 2 starter for me. He's situational for you. Be a flex for me.
On your team, yeah, you don't need him, obviously. But this isn't deeper leagues, man. Usually I don't even get to listen to my own advice on here because I have better players that are always playing anyways. You know what I mean?
Bottom of the line guys here.
I never pick players from my own team, including Ryan Tannehill. I never owned Ryan Tannehill in fantasy, and I am saying situational starter this week versus Baltimore. They led up the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks. He had 7 touchdowns over the past 3 weeks, just 2 interceptions in that span, 3 300-yard performances in the last 5 games. He has multiple touchdowns in 8 of his last 10 games, and look at his next 3 weeks. I play him this week, obviously. We know Baltimore sucks against the pass. But then he has the Giants. We know they're terrible against the pass. And San Diego, they're terrible against everything. So he has a great matchup coming over the next 3 weeks.
Tannehill, I don't know about that guy. He's definitely going to put up points. I just don't like him. But I don't like anybody, so that's not really shocking.
I was going to say, that's not saying much, man.
Out of those 3, I would venture to say that Tannehill will end up with the most points. I mean,
Quarterback.
yeah, obviously, but
Which one of the receivers are going to have a bigger day, Easy? LaFell or Moncrief?
I'm going to have to go with Moncrief just because I think he might get more yardage and more play.
You know why he picked Moncrief? Because I play him this week and I got LaFell going against him.
Good reasoning.
And I'm not going to root for LaFell either because he's garbage.
All right, let's move on to sleepers.
I'm going to go with Devin Funchess for the Carolina Panthers. He's pretty much been non-existent all year long, but they're going up against the Saints. They give up the 16th most points to fantasy wide receivers. They just give up mad points through the air, fantasy-wise, real-wise. I mean, the Saints' defense is almost as bad as the Eagles' defense. And Funchess has had an okay last 2-3 weeks. I think he has 2 double-digit fantasy performances in the last 4. He's not going to give you 22 or 25 or anything like that, but if you're in a deep league looking for a flex guy, or if you play 3 wide receivers, if you're looking to throw a 3rd wide receiver in there, he's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, you remember he got his first start a couple weeks ago. Had 4 catches on 8 targets for 64 yards and a touchdown. He didn't do so well against Dallas last week at Dallas, but it was a tougher matchup than he has this week, obviously. But if you look, like you said, over the past 4 weeks, double digits twice, 17, then 6, 16, then 3. He's in line for a double-digit performance here, in my opinion, and it's a great defense to go up against here to do that.
I mean, a touchdown and 6-7 catches, and you're putting up at least 10 points, 12 points, you know?
Correct.
Depending on if you're in a PPR league.
I know you picked New Orleans to win this game in our line segment, and
Cover.
I picked Carolina. Well, yeah, to cover. But Carolina, I said they were going to put up 40-some points in this game, and Devin Funchess is going to get involved in there somewhere if that happens.
He's going to have some Funchess out there.
How about you, Easy? Who's your sleeper? Your boy?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with a sleeper who didn't sleep for me the couple weeks that I put him into the lineup. Wonderful beard, a gentleman, a scholar.
He shaved it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he shaved the beard. He said he thought it was bringing him bad luck. I swear I read it the other
Days
day.
ago?
Like 2 days ago, maybe. He just shaved it after their last loss.
All right, well, he's still a gentleman and a scholar, but you know what? Brandon Marshall's doing big things out there. Decker is consistent.
Marshall was a good pick.
Yeah, we're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, by the way. I don't even think we said his name yet.
All you have to do is say gentleman, scholared, shaven beard. And
Yeah, he's the only
they
real
know.
scholar in the NFL.
Yeah.
Dude went to, Harvard?
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I put him in a couple weeks back. I think he got me, 22 and 25 points or something. Good weeks. He's had 9 touchdowns over his last 4 games, so that
Beast mode.
right there is points.
He's getting healthier, too.
And the whole team is there though, because you have Ivory.
He's like the 6th leading rusher.
Stupid Bilal Powell still out there too. Bilal, I seen him on where did I see him? I don't know.
On the field for the Jets?
Yeah, when I see him, no, I think I seen him down at the
Probably in the homeless center.
down at the Walmart. But
Buying some tombstones.
The Jets passed a lot. Look, 34 more pass attempts in each of his last 5 games that he started and finished. You remember the one game he only had like 5 passes or something because he got injured and came out of the game. But that was all the time he missed. When he came back, he wasn't playing as great, but he picked it up last week. 4 touchdowns against Miami. Miami's not a very good defense, but neither are the Giants, who he's going up against this week. We said it week in and week out for the past 2 months probably. The New York Giants defense just isn't that good. And I see Ryan Fitzpatrick going out and having a big day with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker out there, who's been one of the most consistent receivers in football this season.
although I seen him drop one his last game, I guess.
Well,
Sunday
I'm just talking in terms of fantasy.
I
Yeah,
know, but
correct.
he dropped a touchdown pass, and that was to be the last thing Ryan Fitzpatrick would need is if Eric Decker started to drop off a little bit, because I think he targets him a lot.
Well, your pick of the week is the Jets, right? You're going with Ryan Fitzpatrick. You love it.
Yeah,
You're
when you
feeling
asked
the
me about the
Jets.
pick, when Yin's asked me about the picks of the week, I'm in the middle of cutting metal covered in grease and all kinds of stuff, and I look down and I just see picks. So I look at them real quick.
Look
You
at
know
him
why?
on
'Cause
Sunday, man, and
the-
just take a look.
The Giants. Well, first of all, we've already spoken. The Jets are garbage on the road. You know what I mean? And then I'm saying to myself, first when I seen it, it said New York Jets at Giants. Okay,
Right.
I know it's the New York Giants, but I still see they're on the left side of that equation. I said to myself, all right, they're the road team.
Yeah,
They're garbage.
they're garbage.
But then the Giants don't impress me at all either. This is an intriguing matchup. And it's sad to say, but Fitzpatrick will probably score more fantasy points than Eli this week.
I would believe so too. Although the Jets defense hasn't been great either the past couple weeks.
If you're trying to make the playoffs and you don't have a top, between 5 and 10 player at a position, you got to go with matchups. I mean, you can't just rely on somebody. If they're your 12th best quarterback in the league and you're in a 16 team, screw that, man. Go for the guy with the good matchup. Don't bank on getting something because then he's going to go out and crap the bed and you're going to lose. Peyton Manning got me -7 one time. That's what I got for trusting.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with the same game and go with a New York Giants wide receiver and Dwayne Harris going up against the Jets. Like I said, the Jets haven't been as great as a defense as a whole over the past couple weeks. In fact, they let up the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers this season now. It wasn't that bad most of the season, but they've been getting torched recently. And Dwayne Harris has been pretty good this season, especially in leagues that count kick returns as well. Look, he has 5 double-digit fantasy performances in his last 8 games. All 3 single-digit fantasy performances were on the road as well, so this is a home game for him. He's played much better at home. He has 14, 19, and 24 points in his last 3 home games, and he has 24 targets in his last 4 games as well, so Eli Manning's looking his way. Really, it's ODB out there, and Dwayne Harris and Ruben Randall are pretty much getting the same amount of targets. Dwayne Harris is coming up with the bigger plays.
Eli needs somebody to make big plays for his dumbass.
ODB's a beast.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about outside of that guy. Everybody knows he's going to do good, and now he's getting double and triple covered.
You went spread solo on the New York Giants, correct?
Believe it.
So is Dwayne Harris going to have a big day or what? Or am I dead wrong here?
They're the home team. Doesn't matter. Eli's going to throw for 500 yards.
500 yards. Well, Easy just said Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have the bigger day. If Eli throws for 500, easy. How many is Ryan Fitzpatrick
could throw for 406 touchdowns. Eli could throw for 503 touchdowns.
Touchdowns?
Hucking and chucking, buddy.
Activate Victor Cruz.
and Nelson Aguilar, too.
Nelson Aguilar. All right, let's move on to deep sleepers.
Pains me to say this, but Kobe Fleener, or, I guess you could go Dwayne Allen if he's still playing. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the Colts tight end position a lot, but whoever the tight end is going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers give up the 5th most points to fantasy tight ends. Fleener has just 2 double-digit fantasy performances this year, but this will most likely be his 3rd. He has 5 or more targets in 5 of his last 6 games. Hasselbeck, not that his arm's beat, but he's not going to be going downfield as much as Andrew Luck would in their offense. He's going to be looking to check down a little bit or maybe have a couple safety net throws. He's playing well right now. It looks like the offense is humming along very consistently. In the middle, Russell Wilson, 3 of his 5 touchdown passes came straight up the middle on the Steelers defense last week. So there's no reason to think that Fleener can't, stretch the seam a little bit and do the same thing. I think that the Seahawks may have found a recipe for success against this Steeler defense. I'll get into it in our Steeler preview. Hopefully the Colts don't follow the same recipe because it almost worked for the Raiders and it did work for the Seahawks.
Steelers been getting torched by the tight end all season long, and we've seen that. In fact, they were getting torched by the tight end Jimmy Graham last week as well before he went down. I think he had 4 catches for 75 yards. And then Luke Wilson came in when Jimmy Graham went down, and I think on the first play Luke Wilson was in. He caught like a 20-yard pass or something.
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah, they just get... I'm not a big Kobe Fleener fan. He doesn't block very well. He does have bad hands. He doesn't run great routes, but he does come up with big plays here and there. And against Pittsburgh, this is the best time to play him, really.
It's the only time to play him.
I'm going to go with Miami wide receiver Devontae Parker versus Baltimore this week. Like I said, Baltimore's defense, they get killed against the pass. And I took Ryan Tannehill as a situational starter quarterback. I'm going to go with Devontae Parker here.
Bonus
one of his
points.
options.
Cha-ching!
Yeah, look, he had 0 targets since week 3 until last week when he had 10 targets against the New York Jets. He came up with 4 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Rashard Matthews went down in that game with a couple broken ribs. It looks like he's out, so Devontae Parker's going to take his place. And we've seen Rashard Matthews was a pretty good receiver all season long, pretty consistent player. And Devontae Parker, I think he has more upside. You remember, he's just a rookie. He has more upside. He may be a little bit raw right now, but you can see Tannehill was looking his way a ton last game. And here against Baltimore, one of the worst teams against the pass, I see a lot of plays for all the receivers out there in Miami.
I think Limas Swede could have a good day against his Baltimore defense, so I'm pretty sure Devontae Parker could.
Kenny Stills could end up getting a deep ball too. He actually had a decent game against the Jets last week as well. What about you, Easy?
Well, we're gonna take it real deep because you know who puts me to sleep? The Chicago Bears. And what's his name? I'm gonna call him Marcus.
Okay, I think it's Marquise.
No, it's not Marquise. It's Marcus.
All right.
Look it up. I'm calling him Marcus. I'm calling him Marcus Wilson. And Eddie Royal is not healthy, so what are you going to do? He's there. I mean, even if Royal does play, he's still going to be the number 2 out there, the way things have been shaping up. They've all been hurt, but Cutler's still got to throw the ball to somebody.
Yeah, you looked 2 weeks ago against Denver. He had 102 yards on 4 catches. In Denver, one of the better defenses in the league. And he had 4 catches for 44 yards at Green Bay last week. So, I mean, he still had a few fantasy points. And as a deep sleeper, that's not terrible. But I'm looking at a little bit better game here against San Francisco. Another terrible defense against the pass. And, I mean, San Francisco is just one of the worst defenses in football as well. They stack right up there with Philadelphia and New Orleans. So, Marquise Marcus or Marquez Wilson, I'm playing him.
Doesn't matter how you say his first name. Dude's going to get points.
Marquez is going to get hit by Cutler unless Cutler breaks his arm.
His name's going to be Conquest Wilson.
Yeah, I like it. Marcus Wilson, because he might get knocked out. But I'm gonna make a card that says Jay Cutler broken arm, and then Sunday when he gets carted off, I predicted it.
Sell it online for mad cash.
Oh, out of us 3, who likes Jay Cutler? Raise their hand. No one's seen any hands raised.
Can I put my hand down lower? Anything else for the fans? Dash.
Nope.
That's all the fantasy you got?
Well, what fantasy do you got?
They're thirsty for more.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hold on, let me look at my team.
We only got 1 week.
We'll see
There's
if I
only
got a
1
question.
week.
Yeah, until playoffs. Get it done. Got any questions?
Well, yeah. Here's the question. What's up with Devontae Freeman?
He's playing. Roddy White says he's out of concussion protocol, and that's all you need. Roddy White's word.
Yeah,
That's
usually
not
when you have a
official, just
concussion,
so
man,
people
you
know.
only miss 1 week. And, I mean, Tevin Coleman looked good, but Devontae Freeman, if he's back,
Does Coleman even get a start in deep leagues?
No. If Devontae Freeman's a full go, man, I mean, this guy's a beast. We've seen it.
Because Coleman, I just went up against Coleman last week. I don't know.
He played well.
Yeah, he put points up.
Yeah,
So Devontae comes back. He's on the bench then. Nothing.
definitely.
Will Fort over or under 9 points Forte gets this week?
They're going up against San Francisco. I'm going to say he at least doubles that.
So he's about getting 18 then.
Yeah.
All right. What about you?
Should I play Danny Woodhead versus Denver, or Des Bryant versus Washington, Macklin versus Oakland, or West versus Oakland, or Watkins versus Houston?
Gee, now I can't even remember all the names. You gave me too many names. But
Marcus.
I will say Des Bryant, I mean, who's he have a quarterback? Pretty
Matt
much
Castle.
no one. Yeah, that's a tough play. I mean, I have him too, and I am going to play him, but I think I'd look at Macklin, man. Alex Smith has been playing well. Like I said, he doesn't turn the ball over well. He's been throwing for touchdowns over the past couple weeks. Macklin had a big week last week. So I'm going to go with Macklin. I'm going to sit Des Bryant. Who was the first guy you said? Someone else good, but
Bryant, Macklin, West, or Watkins?
Oh, no. I thought you said someone else before that.
I have Woodhead in right now.
Oh, Woodhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Woodhead, but it's a tough matchup for him, obviously, going up against Denver. So I'd probably try to stay away from him this week because Denver's been playing a little bit lower scoring games recently, and they have that good defense. So I'm going to say Macklin in that.
McCoy versus Houston?
Yeah, you got to go with McCoy. I know Houston's defense playing a little bit better recently, but it's McCoy still. He's one of the top running backs in football still.
T.Y. Hilton or Martavis Bryant?
T.Y. Hilton or Martavis Bryant. I'm going to say I'm probably going to go with T.Y. Hilton in that matchup. Yeah, because the Steelers defense has been getting torched against receivers recently.
T.Y. Hilton or Cobb? Cobb Thursday night for the Green Bay.
They're going up against Detroit. Detroit's got a pretty good defense over the past couple of weeks. You've seen them turn their season around recently.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Randall Cobb really hasn't been the type of receiver everybody wanted him to be in the first place. So
Right.
I'm going to sit Randall Cobb in that situation.
Packers have the 23rd ranked passing offense in the league.
Who's that?
The Packers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Packers defense hasn't been good recently. Definitely.
I got too many questions for my other team, so I'll just wait till we're not on the air. It'll take up a whole segment.
All right, man.
Just going to make you set my lineup for me so I can beat easy.
Ain't happening.
Oh, yeah, I'm already projected to beat you full.
Projections.
Fans, if you want to hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread, hit me up on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/betthespread. Check out our YouTube page, youtube.com. Click subscribe. We gained a subscriber since yesterday. Every time I tell the fans we're stuck on a number, we get another one. So we've been stuck on 208 for like a day. Let's get it going, fans.